Hello, I'm Cheryl Chase, voice of such characters as Pinky from the television series Noozles and Angelica Pickles from the Rugrats. You're listening to Voicing Your Talent.
With me, Jacquelyn Liz.
And action.
Hi everyone, welcome to Voicing Your Talent with me, Jacquelyn Liz, where I will be interviewing the giants in this crazy industry we call voice acting. Get to know them a little more and their passion for the art of voice acting.
Hello, Cheryl, and welcome.
Hi, Jacquelyn.
How did you discover you could do voiceover work so brilliantly?
Well, I don't know if it's brilliantly, but thank you for saying that. I discovered that growing up I had a very unique voice, and it was a very young-sounding voice. And I found out by mimicking other performers and mimicking actors and actresses, I found that I did have a wide range. Like I can do babies, I can do little girls like this. I'm a little girl and I'm 5 years old. And I can do Angelica, hey you dumb babies!
And then I can also do an old woman. She's like 85 years old.
So, you have to have a wide range to do voiceover work.
Still to this day, even my boyfriend, he still watches like the Rugrats and stuff like that because apparently it's on like Prime Video and a lot of other things, and he's just like, I remember those days. I'm like, those were the good old days where Rugrats
yeah, I
was
know,
on,
right? They're the good old days.
And all of the others. And I'm just like, to this day, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, they had really great cartoons back in the 90s. Awesome cartoons.
Absolutely. How did you begin your journey into the world of voice acting, and how old were you when you began?
Well, actually, I was in my late teens, early 20s, and I was in college, and I was walking down the road. I was walking down the sidewalk, and I was just talking to my friends, and someone came up to me. They ran up to me, and they said, you know what? You sound just like Glinda the Good Witch from The Wizard of Oz. I never thought of that before, but, when I watched the movie, I tried to mimic her, so it's like I tried to do it like this. You don't need to be helped any longer. You've always had the power to go back to Kansas. Just close your eyes, tap your heels together 3 times, and say, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. Kind of like that. And so then I decided, hey, I have a character voice. So I went to school, and I went, for voiceover and taking classes. And so that's how it started from there.
That's really cool. Same thing with me as well. Like I would mock Angelica Pickles and Harley Quinn and stuff like that. And then from there, that's when I got teaching and into voiceover work. So that's how I started. And
that's neat.
Yeah, and mocking all the characters that were from Nickelodeon and like Cartoon Network's other things. So that's how I started.
Great. That's really, that's how you start, is like you mimic other actors doing their thing, yeah.
Early in your career, you were an actress and starred in a film alongside Marie Osmond titled Side by Side, The True Story of the Osmond Family. What was that experience like?
That was a really eye-opening experience for me because I'm used to being in a recording booth behind a microphone doing my parts. And then that's for voiceover. But when on camera, you're on a set and you have big cameras. You have this crew going all around. You have the director going all around trying to direct the actors. And I have to tell you that watching and observing and actually going through the process, I learned so much in 1 week, like compared to me going to like my 3 years of school for film acting. And so going to school for it, I learned on the job, and it was really fascinating. And another point too is like when you're an established film star, like say Susan Sarandon, who was in the Rugrats in Paris movie. That was her first voiceover job in voiceover, is voicing the French lady in Rugrats in Paris. And she was so nervous because she's never done voiceover before, but she's always done on-camera acting. So you would think it would be like nothing for her. But she wanted me to fly to New York. Well, Paramount paid for me. They flew me out to New York to work with Susan Sarandon for one day to feed her lines. My lines were already recorded in Los Angeles, but I had to go and act with her so she can record her lines. So that was like an honor for me to be able to do, but it was like really fascinating how scary it could be for someone who's so established and going into another medium of acting, into being, in a voiceover type situation. So I really remember that. So, yeah.
I feel the same way with on camera. It's like different when you go into like different medias, voice acting and acting. Acting is completely different when you see it from a voiceover spectrum. And when you see it from an acting spectrum, voiceover is completely different. So
Exactly, because another thing too is when a voice actor is in the booth and he's behind the microphone, he just has his voice to portray the character, but he has to use his whole body. He has to move his body and let the character just be through his whole body. And you can't be like really stiff and just stiff and not move. You have to just let the acting vibes and the character flow through you. But when you're doing on camera, that's what you naturally do. I mean, because you're playing to the cameras. But in voice actors, you're playing to the microphone.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Shortly after your acting debut, you voiced a character named Pinky on the animated feature Noozles. This was back in the mid-'80s when the recording process was much different. Please share with us what the recording process was like.
Well, it's kind of hard to remember way back then, but I have to tell you that the recording process is actually the same as it is these days. It's just the method of recording is much different. Back in the 80s, you had the tapes where you would record on tape and on reel-to-reels, and these days you use computer software and it's digital. So that's the really main difference from recording back then to now.
Throughout your career, you have voiced many amazing characters, such as Squeaker in Dragon Ball, and several characters within the world of Ren and Stimpy. But you are best known for your role as Angelica Pickles in the Rugrats. How did you land that role, and what was the audition process like?
Well, actually, what happened with this, there was a pilot, and a pilot is a test to see if the network wants to buy the show and make it more episodes by just how good the pilot is. So I went to go audition for this pilot, and there was no Angelica and there was no Chucky. There was only Tommy and Phil and Lil. So I auditioned for them, and I didn't hear anything and didn't hear anything for a long time. And then I heard, they made the pilot. So I thought, okay, I guess I didn't get it, 'cause usually when you go on an audition, if you don't get it, they're not going to call each and every actress to tell them they don't get it. It's just that here you go, and if you don't hear anything, then, you didn't get it. So I thought, okay, well, that's good. So, but then a year and a half later, because the pilot was bought by Nickelodeon, they liked the pilot, so they wanted to make Rugrat cartoons. So they created the characters Angelica and Chucky. So I went to go audition for them, and I got Angelica. And it was really kind of cool because at the time I was working on the Ren and Stimpy show. I was working in the production offices as like a little receptionist, and then they bumped me up to casting director. So I was really pretty busy working there, but they would let me go to other auditions. And so I had this job at The Simpsons. I was doing voice work on The Simpsons, And I was sitting in the back of the recording studio, and someone told me that my agent was on the phone for me. So I picked up the phone because we didn't have our own cell phones back then. So there was just one phone there. So my agent told me, you got the part of Angelica on the Rugrats. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I was so happy. And it was like really a cool moment to be working on like a show like The Simpsons and then finding out that I got my very first my second series, because I was working on Ren and Stimpy first, and then I got Rugrats. So that was like a really exciting moment.
Now, this is my own personal question. What did you work in The Simpsons?
Well, it's been so long. I don't know what episode it was, but I was doing Walla, like background voices. I wasn't do you know what Walla is? You know, where they do Walla, Walla, Walla. It's sound effects in the background to make, it's crowd voices is what it is. So that's what I was doing, and that's what happened.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What was the process like recording Angelica Pickles for Nickelodeon?
It was, you know what, it was really fun. It was, because it was, you know, going to Nickelodeon, it's a very colorful environment, and they have toys everywhere, and cartoon characters everywhere. And so it's, you know, it's really fun environment. And in Rugrats in the beginning, we all worked together. They all had us on we did a table read where the whole cast would read the script. You would act out the script at the table with the director, and then when we were done, he would take us in the booth, and then we would work on our lines. But later on, it changed, and we would just go in one at a time. We would just go in for an hour or two, and then we would leave after we did our part, and then another actress, like, you know, E.G. Daly, Tommy Pickles, would come in, and she would do her part after I did my part. So we would take turns.
What's funny is you said table read. I'm actually, I can't really see the project that I'm doing, but we're slowly getting into, like, the table reads and stuff like that, so I'm even excited.
Oh, that is so awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
How did you create the voice and develop your characters' voices?
Well, actually, you place it in different parts of your head. You know, you have your head voice, you have your throat voice, you have your chest voice is where you put the emphasis. So if I need to do a baby voice, you have to place it in your head, and you have to squeeze your vocal cords really tight, like this. And that's all in my head and in my throat. And for Angelica, when I, you know, was reading the copy of like what, you know, it's like a bratty little 3-year-old girl. And so I just thought, well, geez, what would I sound like as a 3-year-old? And I knew the more you squeeze your vocal cords, the more, you know, you sound younger. So that's just what I did. I just squeezed my vocal cords like this, and I'm Angelica Pickles for Nickelodeon. That's how I did that.
That's really cool. I'm, like, smiling right now because, like my mom said, back then she was one of my favorite characters.
Aw,
still is.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's so sweet, Jacquelyn.
What are some of the struggles and or challenges of being a voiceover artist?
Well, the struggles that any actor has these days is there's so many of actors out there. There's so many competing and wanting that job. And in voiceover, they are liking the celebrities. They want to bring in the TV people and the movie people. They want to bring in you know, people like that, and that's a struggle because you have to compete with that. The challenges of it is, like my big challenge was I never really had a recording studio until now in my home. These days you have to have your own recording studio in your house just because that's what the industry is changing. And that was before the pandemic. That was before the COVID-19 when everyone had to work at home. Actors already had their studios in their houses which I didn't. So now I do. So I've met the challenge. But those are the two things, the challenges of having a recording studio in your house for me, it's a challenge. Because I'm not that tech savvy, learning how to do the software and everything.
Yeah, I agree with you, especially trying to compete on these certain websites and stuff like that. And like you said, there's a lot of them out there now.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of, there's, do you do Voices123 and Voices.com?
Yes, Voice Bunny, Voices123, Voices.com, any voice website we're on.
Yeah, it's there's so many people out there doing it, so I wish you all the luck with that.
Thank you. Also, I do have another question myself. How does one land a SAG-AFTRA job? This is the biggest trouble I've been having in my career.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's so hard. It just that's hard to answer because it has to just fall into your lap. Or you always have to be aware of what's out there. Have a good agent. Do you have an agent?
My mom is my agent.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Well, you just have to have, your mom, if she's your agent, you just have to know what is out there and just be ready to perform when a part comes up that's right for you. And you just have to get in there, get yourself in there, and show them you're professional and show them you can do it. And one of these days, you will get a job, Jacquelyn. You've already had it. You've already gotten a job. You're doing a table read. That's awesome. But one of these days, you will definitely join the union. You just have to keep sticking to it and be perseverant. And you'll do it, too.
Thank you.
Thank
you for that advice. When recording characters such as Angelica Pickles, Little Miss Bossy, or one of the amazing characters, how do you get into character?
Well, because I've been doing Angelica for so many years, she's kind of in my muscle memory. If I have to do her, in my head, it's like, okay, it's time to do Angelica! And she's there. It's not really that there's this big dramatic thing that I have to go through. It's just knowing your character, your different characters that you do, and where you place them, either in your chest voice, your throat voice, or your head voice. And you just go to that muscle memory, and then your characters pop up.
That's cool. What advice would you give to someone whose dream is to become a famous voiceover artist?
Well, let's see. In the beginning, never give up your day job. It takes a while. It takes a while to break in. But all I have to say is, if you want to be a voiceover artist, you do have to know how to act. You have to take acting classes. You have to take improv classes. You just have to know how to act and be comfortable with that. Because when you do go to these voiceover sessions, a lot of times, you might have to improv with the other actors that are there. And so, you have to be comfortable with that. Because, doing voiceover, you don't just, and as you just don't pick up a piece of copy and start and just read it. You have to bring it to life. You have to act it out. So I would say for, anybody who wants to go into voiceover, it's just, yes, there are classes that you must take for voiceover. You have to know how to do the mic and that's a whole other world, and there's classes out there for that. But your base is your acting training. That was mine as well. That's how I did it.
Can you share with us any up-and-coming projects you are currently working on? This one I can. I've been doing some writing, and I am writing a children's picture book series. I have 3 books, and they're in different phases of production. My first book is being illustrated right now with a brilliant artist who's working on My Little Pony in Ireland, but she illustrates for children's books. So that book is going to be coming out in January. So, and then my other 2 ones will come out later in the year. But
it's kind of exciting. It's a new phase for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to be really involved with promoting the books next year. And we'll see what happens. Hopefully people will buy them.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for me as an up-and-coming voiceover artist?
Yes. Do you have a recording studio in your house?
Yes, I do. Actually,
good.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yes, actually, it's called a whisper room, but we're slowly, my dad's building over it because we have a macaw that's right next to it, and he'll sometimes squawk during a recording.
Yeah, boy.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be very added so he doesn't get in there. Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. If you have that, then you're good to go, and you have a good mom that she's your momager, right?
Yes.
Then you're good to go, Jacquelyn. You're lucky. Your mom is the wind beneath your wings. Don't you forget that.
Oh, I know. And speaking of the project I'm working on, the character happens to be an artificial intelligence. So it's like a robotic. I had to do like a monotone robotic voice.
It sounded good what you did.
Mm-hmm.
Do a little bit. Do a little bit more. Let me hear.
Artificial intelligence. Hello.
That is great. That is awesome, Jacquelyn. I'm not kidding you. That really sounds, the way you said hello, oh my gosh, that every little nuance says robotic, but yet, you're a pretty sounding woman. And so, that's congratulations. That's great.
And my voice coach told me when I first started, I always stuck to the British accent when I wasn't supposed to. So he kind of basically helped me slowly get back into the normal accent when I needed it, like my normal.
Oh, do you normally talk British?
When I was first starting out, I would always audition with a British accent.
Oh, that's funny. So cute.
And then slowly from there, as I got a little bit older and kind of like a deeper voice, I could do a smoker lady. I sound like I've been smoking for about 50 years. And
yes, you do. That is awesome.
And I can do kind of like a child's voice, if you will. So
yes, you can.
Yeah, and
you have a terrific range.
And a New Yorker, I can sound like I'm living in New York for about 7 years.
Yeah, you do. You do. Hey, you have a long career ahead of you, girl.
Yeah,
you do.
And the reason how I got the New Yorker voice is actually because of Tara Strong, Harley Quinn's voice. I mocked her to the point that Mr. Jay's gonna beat you up, and I slowly mocked her so many times to the point I kind of had my own. So
that is so funny.
Yeah.
That is great. That's awesome. Yeah, Tara is so talented. She's terrific.
And in closing, how can fans find you on social media and check out some of your work?
Well, I have a fan page on Facebook. It's called Cheryl Chase Entertainer. So if they go to that, they could find, my Angelica page, and they can click on that. And on Instagram, I'm Real Cheryl Chase. Mm-hmm. And for Twitter, it's at Cheryl Chase.
I will definitely follow.
Yeah. I don't do Twitter too much. I don't. And I know I need, once my books start coming out, I'm going to have to be more on Twitter and Instagram and everything. But, yeah, that's how they can get a hold of me.
Like I said, I will definitely have to follow.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so very honored.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much, Jacquelyn.
And thank you, Cheryl, for taking the time to be with us this evening. And know this was an extra special treat for me growing up having everything Angelica Pickles. I actually did. According to my mother, I did.
Aw, that's so sweet. I really appreciate that. You're such a doll. Yeah, and I thank you. I had such a great time doing the interview. I thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Voicing Your Talent with me, Jacquelyn Liz. Stay tuned for more thrilling interviews from the giants in our crazy industry we call voice acting.
Cut. That's a wrap.
Thanks for listening to Voicing Your Talent with Jacquelyn Liz. Voicing Your Talent is part of the Theme Parkology Network. Interviews were arranged by and for Theme Parkology. Voicing Your Talent is strictly a fan publication. Please visit us at themeparkology.com for more information. Follow Jacquelyn Liz on Facebook.com/blessedwithavoice and Instagram.com/voicingyourtalent. All character voices, trademarks, product names, company names, and logos mentioned are the property of their respective owners. All opinions stated within do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Theme Parkology or any other production company. Don't forget to subscribe to Voicing Your Talent on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast platform. By subscribing, you'll get a notification as soon as our latest episode drops. While you're at it, please rate us with a 5-star review. This will help other fans find our show. Just like Jacquelyn says, we are all blessed with a voice.